Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Paremka. I'm the Assistant Superintendent at Greater Latrobe, and I'll be your host tonight. I'm joined along with the legend, Hank Bachman, is my co-host here this evening as we are proud to present the graduation ceremonies at Latrobe Memorial Stadium for the class of 2020. Hank?
Thank you, Mike. It's great to be here with you. This is your Studio A.
This is my Studio A.
Usually,
usually I'm over there for the Friday night football broadcast.
You bet. You bet.
What a change, what a difference, but what a beautiful night. I know the threat of showers is in the air, but listen, I talk about the football gods all the time on Friday nights, and I talk about, the football gods smiling on the Wildcats.
You bet.
Well, I believe that there are graduation gods, and I believe that the graduation gods are going to smile on the Wildcats tonight. A first for a class that deserves it.
A first for a class that deserves it. Yeah, the Greater Latrobe District does have great connections.
We do.
And, this is really, it's exciting. It's exciting to do live programming in any case, but particularly for this graduation, particularly for these kids whose education has been disrupted. This is kind of a reunion in a way,
well,
right?
It is, and it was interesting to be down here earlier this week when the kids were practicing, and it's the first time really they've all been together. And they did it in two groups. You had the A through L came in early, and then M through Z in the afternoon. But it was refreshing to see the kids around each other and laughing. And anybody that gets into the education business, Hank, they get into it because of children. And you have to love children, and it was great to be around. And I was joking with Mr. Maines, and they were laughing, and they were having a great time being with their buddies and doing what they should have done 3 weeks ago. But you know what? We're here tonight, and I believe we could be the only school in the Commonwealth doing something somewhat traditional.
Well, I want to talk to you about that, about how we got to this rather than a virtual graduation. But I wanted to say, I know you at Greater Latrobe are very proud to be joining us, as we are so proud to be joining you, and we being LHTC, Laurel Highlands Total Communications, in bringing this event to the audience. It's wonderful that parents, extended family who may not be able to be here can watch the broadcast, can be part of the event. That's the great fun of doing something live.
Well, and it sure is. And this idea, I got to be honest with you, the whole idea of what we're doing here kind of came out of a faculty meeting early on. And not March, but I think it was around April. I was home one night. My wife, who teaches at the high school, said to me, Leslie Harvey, a world language teacher at the high school, she wondered if WCNS could broadcast graduation.
Terrific idea.
Well, that's what I said. So I said to my wife, I said, too bad we don't know somebody down there. Started talking it around, kicking it around, and then the live stream idea came up.
What happened was he said, this is Mike, you will be broadcasting.
And I'm okay with that. I my dad tells me I have a face for radio, but anyway. I just started kicking it around, and I thought, there's no way we're going to be able to get as many people into the stadium, whatever we didn't know what stadium we were going to use at that point. We have two. We weren't sure, how we were going to get it done. But if everyone couldn't be here in person, how do we make it available to everyone? Now, we've always live streamed, but we've never had commentary during a graduation broadcast. So we took Leslie Harvey's idea, and Miss Harvey, what a terrific idea it was. I got to tell you that.
It's great.
So we took that idea, and here we are. So.
Yep. And I want to mention our sponsors making this. I want to keep saying telecast.
Telecast,
back
simulcast.
in my old TV days.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but yes, thanks to our sponsors: Adelphi Village, Bardini's Country Smokehouse, The Collision Shop by Jason Mignon, Commercial Bank and Trust of PA, Hartman Graziano Funeral Home, Latrobe Chevy, Quattrini Rafferty, St. Vincent College, Smith Propane and Oil, Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation, the Greater Latrobe Education Association, and the Greater Latrobe School District. And we'll have DVDs available of this so people can watch for years to come, and so the kids can see what was telecast as well.
Well, the first graduation here at Memorial Stadium since, from what I understand, and I thought it was over 50 years. The first class to graduate from the high school as we know it now, the Greater Latrobe Senior High School, was 1967.
Okay.
And I know that for a fact because my mother-in-law reminds me of that all the time, Hank. But I thought that maybe 1966 was the last class to graduate here at Memorial Stadium, but in fact, It's 1977. So it's been 40-some years, 43, 44 years since a graduating class has graduated on this hallowed ground here at Memorial Stadium. And again, why did we select this venue as a school district? Well, because we got space. And we got more space here at Memorial Stadium for spectators. We have more space for our students so that we can be properly socially distant from each other and our staff members. So the class of 77, I understand, had over 500 graduating students. That's why they had to come down here. Yeah. This class, 304 graduating students here at Greater Latrobe in 2020, and they are in this venue so that we can spread everyone out. We have 600 spectators. Each student was limited to 2 wristbands per student. If they traded, that was up to them. There's like a little side market there on the wristbands, I think, But at any rate, we got 600 people completely distanced out over a 6,000-seat venue.
Yes.
And I say we, and really when I say we, I'm talking about Dr. Teppert. It was her goal from the get-go to make this as normal for our class of 2020 as possible. So.
Well, it looks normal and it looks wonderful. It's a lot better than doing it virtually. It really is better than doing it virtually.
Well, I mean, and listen, every school district's different, and you got to do what you got to do. We happen to be fortunate to have a venue like Memorial Stadium, not only for our Friday night football games, our track events, and Steeler night, but for something like this. So the field looks great. I would say on a Friday night broadcast, the track is fast. It's perfectly mowed, but real excited to bring this to you along with LHTC Media.
And the other thing is, it's a culmination of a lot of work since March, isn't it? Because we had the disruption and the scrambling and the online education. And you were telling me how wonderfully everybody in the district, the kids, the parents, the staff, the students, the administration, janitors, everybody, food service, everybody came together.
A brilliant effort. I mean, honestly, and it was all hands on deck. It wasn't how can we do this? It's how can we do this?
Good.
You tell us what we need to do. I mean, nobody anticipated a closure of schools that would last 3 months. Yeah. I think we all saw the virus on the news and saw that things were transpiring in other parts of the world, and then it hit us. And we talk about the educational impact, the economic impact, and it's not anything we can predict. I have often joked to Dr. Teppert. She and I both went to superintendent school, and this pandemic training wasn't necessarily something that we were prepared for. But you do the best that you can, and I'd have multiple conversations with parents and just say, listen, just do the best you can. We're all in this together, and we jumped on board. I say we being the Greater Latrobe School District relatively quickly with online learning. That's a testament to our staff.
Yes.
That's a testament to our team that we have here, and to our parents who embraced it wholeheartedly and said, this isn't my job. But it is now.
Got to do it.
And I'm going to do the best that I can.
Sure, you can't let the kids fall behind, and that's wonderful that everybody did pull together like that. Yes, so you and Dr. Teppert, you take office, and bam, you're hit with emergency school management, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Could be
you've
worse.
had some great basic training here.
Yeah, it could be worse. I guess an asteroid could have hit the planet. But other than that, no. I'm going to tell you this. She was committed to having this type of a graduation from the get-go, Hank, and it was just a matter of how could the stars align in a way to allow us to get to this point.
Sure,
and when you're in red or yellow as a county, the stars aren't aligning. But we had a date in June, we had a date in July, and the reason that she selected both of those dates was to try to get some type of traditional graduation for our students. So, here we are. We're in green as a county. We're able to get these folks in. Look, we've got folks lining up out there. I don't know, maybe we could get a shot of that at some point. But
some people outside the stadium.
Outside the
gates,
stadium
yes.
lining up, which I think is terrific to see that. You can't be inside, but you're out there, and hopefully you are watching on the internet or you're listening on the radio 97.3 Light FM.
Yeah, and I don't remember my graduation well, but I think the Latrobe kids will remember this night, coming as it does after the disruption. This is a culmination and a celebration.
Well, I have some foggy memories of my graduation night too. There we go. We've got the shot up there beautifully. You see some folks out there. Here comes the staff, Dr. Teppert, right. Mr. Maines, Mr. Krellick. Mr. Engel there, and they're getting ready to line up to come on the field at 7 o'clock. They will process onto the field. But back to your point, Hank, I have memories of my graduation. My memory of my graduation is that a pop-up thunderstorm came up and we had to move from the stadium inside. You remember the big things, I think, the game changers, right?
That's right.
Mrs. Swaggart, our former superintendent here, used to say, nobody remembers who speaks at their graduation, but you remember the memories that you made for 13 years.
Yep.
But I do believe wholeheartedly that this class will remember this because of the uniqueness. The Latrobe School District's been around since 1881, Hank, and we've never had we've never had this.
Sure,
so.
it is the class of history, indeed.
Yeah, look at this. It's like, and we have this when we have. I'm looking at the shot that we have right now. When we have graduation up at Rossi Field, staff members starting to process in now. We do have some folks that sit up on the bank. This is definitely different. Here come our staff members. We have about 150 staff members participating in graduation tonight. This is their choice to do this. It's something that we started under John Main's leadership as the 11-12 principal several years ago. The staff members are going to process in here to the stadium, and they're going to form a tunnel for our graduates to walk through, and it's a great opportunity. These are elementary school teachers. These are junior high school teachers. These are senior high school teachers. Jamie White, I see Brooke Belak there coming into the screen. Some faculty members, Reagan Smale. And what this is an opportunity for our students, the 304 graduates here tonight, to be recognized as they walk in. My wife, Megan, look at that.
Hi, Megan.
There she is. But an opportunity for our teachers, our staff members, to recognize the students as they get to this moment they've waited 13 years for.
Well, it's another example of the district coming together. As you said, the teachers wanted to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe we have our biggest turnout of staff members since we started this a few years back. 7 o'clock, we should cue up the pomp and circumstance provided by our band. Under the direction of Mr. Timothy Sheridan. They will lead us in the festivities here, and our students will enter through that tunnel of teachers. And something to look forward to at the end of the ceremony, Hank, they will exit through that tunnel as graduates being recognized by their teachers for their accomplishments.
Well, I have a lot of personal interest and personal pride in this event because, as you know, my two sons graduated from Greater Latrobe.
I had them as students a million years ago.
Yeah. They're 32, Mike. How did that happen?
Oh, I don't know.
I
don't know.
And my eldest grandson is a Latrobe graduate, and tonight my youngest grandson, Logan Bachman Stubbs, will graduate. And I have a little 8-year-old granddaughter in the Latrobe school system. So the Bachmans are a Greater Latrobe family, no question. There
you are, checking out the first glimpse of the graduates as they begin to enter Memorial Stadium. Just to the right of your screen there is Rachel Suter. She's one of the class sponsors, faculty member at the high school. And to your left, directing traffic is Emily Fedor, the other class sponsor. And I need to commend them on their work that they've done to make this graduation possible as well. So I believe Emily's trying to give the sign to begin the procession. It's 6:59. Oh, boy.
What were some of the reactions you got, Mike, from the kids when they said, when you told them?
Yes, it is.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2020 graduation celebration for Greater Latrobe School District. Thank you all for being here tonight. We're so pleased and happy that you're here. We're so pleased and happy that our graduates could actually do this tonight. What a wonderful way to celebrate them.
Words from Dr. Michael Zorch, the school board president.
After all everyone's been through, this is a great night. We're so happy that you're here, and we would like you to please stand as we welcome our wonderful 2020 Greater Latrobe High School graduates.
Well, here we go, Hank. This is the moment.
There's a procession.
Kids so excited to be able to process through, socially distant, of course.
Yep. That's why I asked what was the reaction of the kids when they
Hank,
learned.
Hank, they were over the moon. I mean, honestly, talk to the class officers. They were super excited to have something like this. I think even if it was raining tonight, they would have been happy to be here. There you see some school board members in attendance. Bill Palmer, Mr. Palmer, Mr. Music, Merle Music, and his wife there as well. I see Mrs. Sue Maines and Mrs. Kathy Seraph. School board members for a long time have been participating in our graduation ceremonies. Mr. Music, with his son graduating here tonight, will present him with his diploma, and kids coming around the corner. I'm sure there are smiles under those masks. And again, one of the things the kids do, Hank, that I got to tell you is typically the week before graduation, they head out to their elementary schools, the school that they went to as elementary students, and they walk through the halls. And those elementary kids, they clap, they cheer, they have signs up for them. And this group didn't get to do that this year. It's become a tradition here at Greater Latrobe. So this is the first time that our graduates are walking through the tunnel and being recognized on their way to graduation.
What a proud, proud night.
304 graduates. We will have 294 in formation tonight. Those students that are not participating, simply a scheduling conflict.
Sure.
They couldn't do it. The colors of the class, baby blue, which I don't think is colors. I think that would be a color, baby blue. And their motto, I'll be there for you.
I'll be there for you.
So
and they were.
As they're coming through, they'll make their way around the track, and they'll take their seats in the field. One of the smaller graduating classes in recent years. For a long time, I talked about that class in 1977,
sure.
Up over the 500 mark, down in the low 300s here is this graduating class of 2020 as they start to make their way across the field. You can hear the band in the background.
Indeed, indeed. And I know the parents are very, very grateful for this as well.
Well, again, a lot of positive reaction from them. Again, just being able to have some sort of normalcy. You talk about kids waiting 13 years to graduate.
Huh.
I've got a second going to third grader. I've got a kindergartner going to first grade, and they're already talking about it when I graduate. So it's something for parents, obviously, to look forward to as well. It probably seems just like yesterday that these folks were putting their children on the bus and sending them off into the abyss known as kindergarten.
I remember, and it's a flash, right?
It sure is.
It just happens so quickly, which is a cliche that happens to be true.
It is.
How do the years go by so fast? So
a lot of these students I had when I was the principal at Bagley too, and I would talk to them, when they were in third and fourth grade, and I'd say, before you know it, you're going to be standing at graduation with a cap and gown on, and they look at you like you're lying to them. I have the gift of time, though. I used to tell them, I have the gift of time. I know how this works.
Well, I think it is good that kids do not have such an acute sense of time, because it would preoccupy them and, detract somewhat from enjoying their youth. I don't think, 15, 30-year-olds should be thinking like 60, 70-year-olds. but they've got to have it, in the back of their mind that it happens, and it happens quickly. And I'm sure all of them would say, I can't believe tonight is my high school graduation, and in 4 years, for those who go to college, it'll be, where did they go?
And we talk about this all the time. When does it really hit you that you're a graduate? I don't know. I don't know when it will hit this group that they've graduated. I had a teacher of mine back in the day said to me, you'll realize it the first day that yellow bus goes down the road and you don't have to get on it. I always.
That's one good. Yep, that's one good measure. That's one good measure.
But there we go. The last graduates coming into Memorial Stadium here. Memorial Stadium, we can, on a good Steeler night, we can fit about 12,000 in here comfortable tonight. Our capacity is going to be just under 1,000 people, but 1,000 proud and happy folks for sure. There you see the staff members clapping, the staff members' hoods, recognizing their institutions that they attended.
Sure.
As college students as well. A little bit of a sigh of relief, I'm sure, from Dr. Teppert at this point. I told her today, I said, well, Doc, I said, the hay's in the barn now. Go have fun, enjoy the moment. You know, it took us a while to get here, but
yes, and now you've got to prepare for whatever eventuality in the fall, as we discussed on radio, because the conditions are not yet back to normal. So you and Dr. Teppert and all the administrators and teachers and and school districts everywhere have had quite a challenge and quite a test. And these kids are going to remember this year, because wherever they go after tonight, there's still going to be lingering effects of the conditions that require them or cause them to wear masks here at their graduation.
Sure, and no matter where they go, whether they're going into the workforce or going on to college or perhaps military or technical school training, all of that looks different in this time that we're in as well.
Sure.
There you go, a nice above shot. The staff members now processing on the, I guess it would be the west side of the stadium. They will now process to their seats. They'll be seated in both end zones here at Memorial Stadium. And we'll get moving next with the national anthem. Hank,
yes, I guess did the kids do the traditional yearbook signing?
Well, you want to talk about COVID-related issues?
Yes.
Yearbook production companies shut down during the COVID crisis.
Boy, there you
go. As far as that goes, as soon as the yearbooks are in, we hope to have some type of senior celebration so that they can get together. Yearbooks were printed. It was my understanding that we were at the top of the list, of course, to get them printed.
Oh, well, sure. Well, I'm sure they did something online.
Oh, yeah. Listen, the kids have been in communicate. I mean, I think it's easier than ever for kids to
Yeah.
communicate in
Indeed.
2020.
Yes.
No tin can with string needed. Dr. Teppert making her way up onto the stage, the superintendent of schools. Dr. Teppert with the Greater Latrobe School District for more than 20 years. She served as an assistant principal at the high school, principal of the high school, moving into central office as a director of support services, an assistant to the superintendent, an assistant superintendent, and here in her first year as superintendent of schools. Very determined, again, was Dr. Teppert to have this ceremony here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, it's a tribute to everyone. It truly is. And we have talked that how, no matter what the difficulty, the district is now a closer community.
Oh, I think in a lot of ways, I think that out of every tough situation or tragedy, if you will, folks rally together, and there's more of a togetherness. In my lifetime, I would say, September the 11th and the impact that had on folks, bringing them together, creating more of a sense of community. You look around and you see signs commemorating this graduating class. I believe there's positive that comes out of every setback in life, and you learn things from it. Maybe that's the educator in me, Hank, but I'd like to think that we all, kids, adults alike, learned something through this pandemic.
No question, we learned a great deal in media. And getting back to the district, I'm sure there were parents communicating with each other who otherwise might not have met and been working together to help their kids and help others' kids, help their friends. Yeah, it's been a great challenge, but on the other hand, it's been a success.
Graduates,
here we are.
Graduates are all in place.
Yep.
Staff members. If we had coffee down there for them, Hank, they would be.
Good evening. Please stand for the national anthem, performed by Jolie Hutchko, Emily Mondock, Anna Soyson, and Keely Thomas. Please hold applause until the performance is over.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose banners brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Beautifully done.
Oh, the ladies
Beautifully
do.
done.
The ladies do an excellent job. I think if you look up in the sky, we're going to see something else special coming across here. Hank, pilot David Cayley, along with co-pilot John Miller, coming across with a flyover here in their T6G. I think we might. I see folks looking off to their right.
Should be any minute now.
Here we go.
Here we come. Here they come. All right. That's great.
Oh, he dipped the wing. Again,
that's
Mr. David Cayley, co-pilot John Miller there in the backseat. A tribute to the class of 2020. First time in Latrobe history. I can say that for certain.
Good evening. How about another round of applause for the ladies with the national anthem? Fantastic job.
Principal John Maines.
The T6G that just passed above was rescued from the scrapyard by a private individual in 1961, and the blue and white Navy paint scheme went on the airplane in 1983 to commemorate the Korean War veterans. Privately owned by Warbird Aviation Services and based at the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport in Latrobe, she was piloted today by Mr. David Cayley with Mr. John Miller in the back seat as a tribute to the Greater Latrobe class of 2020. The first time in Latrobe history that a graduating class has received a flyover.
Well, the F-16s next year, huh?
Hey, we'll see what we can get there, Hank. That's awesome. So the flyover there, the T6G, and now we're going to welcome Ella Hill, the class of 2020 historian, to the stage for the welcome.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon, school board members, administrators, faculty, staff, friends, and family. Welcome to Greater Latrobe Senior High School's graduation ceremony for the class of 2020. While this may not be the celebration we had planned for, or what we envisioned the end of high school looking like, I am so grateful we are all able to gather together one last time. There are no other people I'd rather be here with today than all of you. Even though this isn't the graduation we imagined, it is even more unique, and because of that, special. My name is Ella Hill, and it has been a privilege to serve as the class historian this year. I'm honored to speak before all of you tonight and announce this year's class of 2020 salutatorian, Caitlin Templeton.
Ella Hill giving away.
I have known Caitlin since elementary school, and having the opportunity to introduce her tonight is truly an honor. Treasurer of Interact Club and president of German Club, Caitlin is also a member of the National Honor Society, the National German Honor Society, and the National Art Honor Society. She is lettered in volleyball and received multiple titles as a competitive dancer. In her spare time, Caitlin is also heavily involved in community service through Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Red Cross. Caitlin, I'm so glad that I get to call you my friend, and I can't wait to see all you will accomplish. From German to calculus to all the other classes we've been in together, we've helped each other through it. And I just wanted to say thank you for giving me an excuse to not do my math homework. But hey, we'll do that next semester. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our class salutatorian, Caitlin Templeton.
Ella Hill, the 2020 historian, giving way to the salutatorian, Caitlin Templeton.
Good evening. Dr. Teppert, Mr. Peremka, Mr. Maines, faculty and staff, friends and family, and of course, my fellow graduates. It is a privilege to be here and an honor to be speaking to you today. Despite the setbacks and challenges we have faced, we are finally here to celebrate our accomplishments as we close one chapter in our lives and prepare to embark on a new one. First and foremost, I would like to extend my gratitude to everyone for attending tonight's ceremony. Thank you to our teachers for believing in our success. Thank you to my classmates for making the journey worthwhile, and thank you to my friends and family, especially my mother, who has provided me unwavering love and support, pushing me to grow and challenge myself beyond limits. During my time at Greater Latrobe, I've had the incredible opportunity to witness our growth and success as a class who's overcome seemingly impossible barriers. Perhaps you could say that we've seen overwhelming change over the past 13 years. We began our journey at Greater Latrobe as the first kindergarten class to experience full-day kindergarten. We began our freshman year as the first 9th grade class to move to the senior high. We ended our senior year as the first 12th grade class to graduate in the midst of a global pandemic. A couple of months ago, it was hard to believe that we would ever see this day, as it became easy to dwell on disappointment and uncertainty. We were forced to quickly adapt to isolation, with the only form of social interaction being through a screen. The entire experience is still difficult to comprehend. We saw the world change before our eyes as we shared in what was hopefully a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I truly do not believe that we could have overcome it without working together. Over the past 12 years, we have relentlessly supported one another, relied on each other, and helped one another. And this year was no different, as we moved from the impossible to the possible. I've learned that we, no matter what we do, will see immense change. Change is inevitable. What is not is the way in which we adapt to change and overcome new challenges. I think we've found that throughout our lives, each one of us has been and will be faced with overcoming seemingly impossible barriers that force us to question ourselves and our capabilities. After this year, it would be easy to view our challenges as disadvantages. However, I feel that because of these obstacles, we will be more adept at conquering the trials and tribulations that await us. After today, we will all follow different paths in life, whether that be through entering the workforce, joining the military, or pursuing higher education. But through our shared experiences, we have developed the resilience and the maturity that we need to keep moving forward, overcoming adversity and striving for success, while turning difficult challenges into opportunities for a better future. Our hard work over the past 12 years has not gone unnoticed. Our dedication, determination, and commitment remain true. We are all capable of extraordinary things, of producing extraordinary outcomes. We've already proven that, and we're only at the beginning of our journey. Let us celebrate using our gifts and talents in the world to make the impossible possible. Let us move forward with cherished memories of the past and step boldly into the future. We are ready, and we will be successful. I would like to end by offering my most sincere congratulations to my fellow classmates. We finally did it. The best is yet to come. Thank you for making our experience at Greater Latrobe one that we will never forget.
That's Caitlin Templeton, the salutatorian here at Greater Latrobe, class of 2020. She's headed to the University of Pittsburgh to study pharmacy. She was introduced by Ella Hill, who's headed to Penn State University for architectural engineering.
My name is Sophia Hoke, and it has been an honor to serve as your class secretary for the past 4 years. It seems like just yesterday, Rachel and I were sitting in my backyard eating slushies after a long summer day of playing outside together. We are now a long way from our idle days in the sun. As her classmate and friend, I can attest to the fact that Rachel Harder has undoubtedly earned the honor of speaking today as the class of 2020's valedictorian. Throughout her years here at Greater Latrobe, Rachel has demonstrated leadership as the National Honor Society president, the Science National Honor Society founder, Link Crew leader, and Science Bowl captain. She has demonstrated outstanding athletic ability, indicated by her role as a cross-country and track and field captain, not to mention her status as a state and national competitor. Along with her leadership, athletic accomplishments, and academic achievement, Rachel maintains involvement in the community by volunteering at the hospital and job shadowing in emergency medicine. Above all of her accomplishments and honors, Rachel is confident, driven, and most importantly, kind-hearted. I am proud to call Rachel my friend, to which all of you would agree, and I look forward to seeing the wonderful things she does at the very lucky Penn State Schreier Honors College and beyond. And now our class valedictorian, Rachel Harder.
Sophia Hoke, the secretary of the class of 2020, headed to Carnegie Mellon University to study chemical engineering, introducing the valedictorian, Rachel Harder.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello, families and friends. Thank you all for being here today under these unusual circumstances. Globally, we are in a strange situation, so to graduates, our celebration of the 2020 class is all the more meaningful. I would like to recognize my teachers, friends, family, and fellow classmates for helping me stand where I am today. Your kindness and devotion to each other has inspired me in more ways than you can possibly imagine. So many individuals at Latrobe have influenced my perspective for the better, and I'm honored to have a chance to return the favor tonight. Finding the right words to say farewell is much harder than I ever anticipated. I blinked and found us together on the cusp of independence, wondering where childhood ended and adulthood began. Who knew 13 years would pass so quickly, yet hold a lifetime of experiences? Soon, there will be many goodbyes, but we never part with the memories we shared. So I ask a favor of you. Don't forget the late nights spent at school dances, the hours of hard work poured into each musical, and the huddles with teammates before big games. Most importantly, never forget the family you built at Latrobe through each success and failure. In the past, summer began with the promise of a reunion after a few months of freedom. Instead, we now journey down separate paths into wildly different futures. The class of 2020, do not let this intimidate you. As one family, we overcame more than the usual challenges of growing up. Sure, together we had our first day of school. Together we transitioned to the senior high. And together, we grew up in the meantime. But we did more than just that. We have suffered loss, endured national political strife, developed in tandem to a technological evolution, and entered society in the midst of a war on terror. Now, we battle a global epidemic in an uncertain and evolving world, where masks and social distancing are the new status quo. Do not panic. This is just one more challenge our family will overcome. Class of 2020, we are bonded by these changes. We can adapt, and we will adapt. Do not let recent events shatter your hope or end your dreams. If anything, use them to remember that time is precious and friends and family invaluable. What impact do you have on the people you love? What impact do you have on strangers? Remember, we're not solely responsible for fixing the problems of the world, but we are all obligated to contribute to the best of our abilities. Collectively, this family has the power to shape a global future. So, I encourage you to chase your dreams and in the process, help make the world a better place. This goal is attainable, especially with a family like Latrobe behind you, every step of the way. Do not misunderstand me. Families are hectic and certainly don't get along flawlessly, class of 2020 included. As the youngest in a family of 6, I can tell you this is natural and unavoidable. With over 300 Latrobian siblings, we will not always agree. Instead, we learn to collaborate, compromise, and accomplish beyond the ability of a singular individual. Family members don't always have to get along with one another, but when challenged, we will always have each other's back. I hope in the future you can all be healthy, happy, and safe. Know that I will miss every one of you, and if we continue supporting one another, we can overcome any challenge. To us, graduation means opening doorways of opportunity, embracing the unknown, and achieving new heights. Most importantly, to this family, graduation does not mean goodbye, but rather see you later. So yes, we are about to travel many different walks of life and continue to adapt in the meantime. But even along ever-changing roads, we still walk together. Congratulations, class of 2020, on your many achievements. We have big dreams. The time to realize them is now.
That's Rachel Harder, the valedictorian of the class of 2020, headed to Penn State University to study biobehavioral health sciences and Spanish.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
How about a round of applause for Rachel and Caitlin for their speeches? That's a tough act to follow.
Oh, I'm sure Mr. Maines will do a good job, though, don't you think, Hank? He's always witty.
Good evening. I'd like to take a moment and thank a number of people. First, I would like to thank Mr. Thomas and our maintenance department for getting Memorial Stadium ready for graduation ceremony the first time in 44 years. I'd like to thank Mr. Sheridan and the band, our choral director, Ms. Perkins, chamber choir members Anna Dowling and Cecilia Long. Anna and Cecilia will be singing our alma mater. And another special thanks to Emily Mondock, Julie Hutchko, Keely Thomas, and Anna Soyson for their great rendition of the national anthem.
What a great job they did.
I would like to thank all the members of the faculty and staff who helped with and participated in this ceremony, and the members of the school board who are able to join us this evening. And finally, I'd like to thank the class advisors, Mrs. Suter, Ms. Fedor, along with my secretaries, Mrs. Claire, Mrs. Sherwin, and Mrs. McElhaney, for all their work planning and directing this beautiful ceremony. I ask the class of 2020 to join me in thanking all of these outstanding people. Seven years ago, I became the assistant principal of our junior high school. Little did I know at that time that I would get to spend the next 6 years following you through high school as your principal. Little did you know that you would help shape me as the leader that I am today. You have taught me so much in the last 6 years, so I wanted to share some of the things that I learned throughout my life and that you helped reinforce. Perseverance and being resilient are keys to success. You're always going to have critics and naysayers and people that are going to tell you that you won't, that you can't, that you shouldn't. Most of these people are the people that didn't, that wouldn't, that couldn't. That's a quote by Tim Tebow. As students, you remind me every day of the importance of resilience and perseverance. Over the past 13 years, as Caitlin mentioned, you were the first class to have full-day kindergarten. You were the first group of ninth graders to become part of the high school. You transitioned to a new master schedule that included Lunch and Learn and Compass. In addition, many of you overcame at least one hurdle to get here on this stage today. Whether that hurdle was a family or medical hardship, not getting into the college of your dreams, not getting the grade that you wanted, you persevered and are now at your high school graduation. Remember, there will always be doubters. There will always be obstacles and challenges. There may be people who try and put limits on what you can do. They may try to steal your dreams. Some of our greatest heroes had to overcome incredible obstacles to achieve success. That's what makes them heroes. They didn't always get it right the first time. They weren't perfect. Life wasn't easy, and yet they never gave up. Find the positive in any situation. Who would have thought that March 13th would have been your final day in the high school? Not me, that's for sure. What I saw from GLSD students over the next 2 months was truly remarkable. Sophia Ho created a GLSD Positivity Instagram page as an outlet for our students to share creative things they've been doing in quarantine and to spread positive messages to other students. Clay McClintock used his 3D printer to make face mask clips for nurses and family and friends. He gave the clips to people for free in order to stay safe. Madison George and Kylie Gazdag made face masks by hand for healthcare workers and then donated them. Grace Garrow wrote thank you cards for all the staff members working on the PCU and ICU floors at Frick and Westmoreland hospitals. The class of 2020, you're going to be in the history books someday. You're going to be telling your grandchildren all kinds of stories. And you will be asked, maybe in an interview, how did you handle losing the last 3 months of your high school career? Are you going to respond with everything you lost out on? Or are you going to respond with how you grew, what you learned, the quality time you got to spend with your family? Think about it. I know how I'm hoping you will respond. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and embrace failure. Throughout my career, I learned that if you don't mind being wrong, on the way to being right, you'll learn a lot and increase your success. But if you can't tolerate being wrong, you won't grow and you make yourself and everyone around you miserable. You must not let your need to be right be more important than your need to find out what's true. Jeff Bezos described it well when he said, you have to have a willingness to repeatedly fail. If you don't have a willingness to fail, you're going to have to be very careful not to invent. So fail well. Everyone fails. Anyone who's succeeding is only succeeding at the things you are paying attention to. I can guarantee they are also failing at lots of other things. I like to think of an iceberg. You can see the tip, the success, but the large part you can't see, the failures, is far greater than the part you can. It requires much more character to fail, change, and then succeed than to just succeed. And during those times when succeeding seems impossible, I'd like to think of a quote by Henry Ford. Whenever everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Don't feel bad about your mistakes or those of others. Love them. I once read an article about Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, learning how to ski. The ski instructor said that Jordan reveled in his mistakes, seeing each of them as an opportunity to improve. He understood that mistakes are vital to the learning and growing process. Every mistake you learn from will save you from many similar mistakes in the future. Stop worrying about looking good. Instead, worrying about achieving your goals. You need to put your insecurities away and get on with achieving those goals. Remember, accurate criticism is the most valuable feedback that you can receive. Don't focus on the criticism. Instead, use it to fix your mistake and move on. So, I'm going to ask you, how have you failed lately? And in addition, how did you handle it? We all have failures, but a true leader takes these failures and uses them to learn, grow, and become a better leader. And finally, but most importantly, be kind. Recently, I saw a sign hanging in the checkout of a grocery store that read, "Today, you could be standing next to someone who's trying their best not to fall apart. So whatever you do today, do it with kindness in your heart." We live in an age of instant gratification. With a touch of a button, we're connected to anything that we possibly could want. Netflix movies, iTunes music, Amazon shopping, text messages, YouTube videos. Posting a picture to Instagram immediately floods your phones with likes and comments. With your smart devices, there's no holdup. We have access to anything we possibly could want on the internet, eliminating the need to be patient. Remember, instant gratification is brief happiness. We get it when we want it. It comes, it goes, and it fades. We want the feeling of excitement every time our phone lights up with a new text message, or for you, the Snapchats. We count how many times our pictures are liked on Instagram and Facebook. We count the number of followers we have on Twitter because in essence, that tells us how popular we are. But what does social media really do for us? It's quick happiness that disappears just as fast. I'm challenging you to find other means of satisfaction to help bring meaning to your lives. We need to learn to slow down and enjoy life in a more patient way. And to me, a way to do that is to be kind. It may be hard and uncomfortable to have to wait and see your payouts of your kindness, but I've learned it will appear exactly when you need it. So, slow down, be patient, enjoy life, and be kind. I'll end with a quote. If you see someone falling behind, walk beside them. If you see someone being ignored, find a way to include them. Always remind people of their worth. One small act could mean the world to them. Class of 2020, continue to follow your passion. Be innovative. Spend every day learning, questioning, and observing. Continue to be humble and kind to everyone every day. Continue changing the world, and I do say continue because you already have. You've changed it for your parents, your community, and certainly for me. Continue to do so. Wherever your future leads, I will be watching and cheering for you. I'm looking forward to hearing the success stories from this class, the class of 2020. It has been an honor to serve as your principal. You've made us proud and will continue to make us proud. Congratulations.
It's the presentation of the class of 2020 by Principal John Maines, the high school.
3 months ago when schools closed, Dr. Teppert was adamant that we would still have a traditional graduation ceremony for you. Even when other districts held virtual ceremonies, Dr. Teppert continued to focus on what we needed to do to make a ceremony happen. It was her leadership, innovative thinking, and commitment to you, the class of 2020, as the reason why we are here today. I ask you to give her a round of applause. She certainly deserves it. And now, Dr. Teppert, on behalf of the administrators, faculty, and staff for the Greater Latrobe School District, it is my honor and my pleasure to present to you the class of 2020.
Principal John Maines presenting the class of 2020
Thank you, Mr. Maines.
to Dr. Georgia Teppert, the Superintendent of Schools.
Well, good evening. We made it. The rain has held off. We'll keep our fingers crossed. What a wonderful evening to celebrate the talented and most of all resilient class of 2020. There are so many individuals to thank for making this graduation possible. If it were not for our supportive and trusting Board of Education, it would not have been possible to hold a traditional graduation ceremony for our most deserving seniors. I would like to recognize our school board president, Dr. Michael Zorch, who is seated on the stage. In addition, I am grateful to Vice President Stephen LaCasio and board members Eric Hauser, Heidi Kozar, Susan Maines, Paul McCommons, Merle Music, William Palmer, and Kathy Seraph for your support and continued commitment for doing what is best for students. I would like to acknowledge Solicitor Ned Nichols, the City of Latrobe Police Department, our Director of Facilities, Kurt Thomas, and Principal John Maines, who have worked tirelessly to create a plan for graduation. Thank you to our class advisors, Mrs. Rachel Suter and Miss Emily Fedor, for organizing and assisting in all the facets of this special event, including the implementation of health and safety precautions to protect our school community. Thank you to our amazing faculty and staff for being here this evening and for what you all do every day for our students. I would like to give a special heartfelt thank you to Greater Latrobe alumni Lester and Karen Sutton, who gave a generous donation to our Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation to fund a special gift for each senior. Our seniors will be presented with the book, The World According to Mr. Rogers. The book is a timeless collection of wisdom on love, friendship, respect, and honesty from Fred Rogers, a Latrobe legend and graduate. There are so many more people I can thank by name, but please know that myself and the entire Greater Latrobe School District staff are forever grateful for our supportive school community. In my opening statement, you heard me refer to the class of 2020 as being resilient. During my tenure at Greater Latrobe, there has always been much discussion around the topic of resilience and how important it is for our students to be resilient when faced with setbacks. What does resilience really mean? According to Dr. Tony Alessandra, PhD, prolific author, and business and motivational keynote speaker, resilience means knowing how to cope in spite of setbacks or barriers or limited resources. Resilience is a measure of how much you want something and how much you are willing and able to overcome obstacles to get it. It has to do with your emotional strength. Wow. Do you think our seniors possess resilience? Well, I sure do. On Friday, March 13th, when Governor Wolf closed schools for 2 weeks, our entire school community was dealing with a global pandemic that probably none of us ever thought we would live to experience. As you know, the 2-week closure was extended through mid-April, then again through the remainder of the school year. Our entire school community, and especially these graduating seniors, had to deal with one disappointment after another. Additionally, they had to complete their high school career at home with the inability to walk their school hallways and learn in a brick-and-mortar classroom. Probably the biggest emotional strain for our seniors was not having face-to-face interaction and the ability to socialize with their childhood friends, some of whom they met in kindergarten. Talking about coping with setbacks, no prom, no senior slideshow, no awards ceremony, no walking through the halls of our elementary schools with caps and gowns, high-fiving younger students and seeing their beloved teachers. And lastly, and maybe most disappointing, a postponed graduation. I think we can all say that our seniors have demonstrated resilience. The question is, how will this experience better prepare you for the future? As stated in the definition, resilience is a measure of how much you want something and how much you are willing and able to overcome obstacles to get it. It has to do with your emotional strength. Seniors, as you begin a new exciting chapter of your life, you will be setting goals and making what you feel to be perfect plans for success. However, how will you respond when, not if, you're faced with adversity, disappointment, rejection, and life's other challenges? During these times is when you must remember how much are you willing and able to overcome the obstacles to get where you want to be, and will you have the emotional strength to continue and stand back up when you're knocked down? It is easy to be positive in life when everything is going well, but can you continue to be positive and use your resilience to overcome those obstacles and life challenges? I know all of you have become more resilient by having to deal with the setbacks and obstacles presented by the global pandemic. I have witnessed you and our entire school community adapt to a new learning environment and show empathy and support for one another. And as superintendent of Greater Latrobe School District, I am most proud of the class of 2020. As Mr. Rogers quoted in the book you will receive as a gift from our Education Foundation, there is no normal life that is free of pain. It's the very wrestling with our problems that can be the impetus for our growth. Resilience. And now for the words tonight's graduates have been waiting for.
Here comes the acceptance.
As superintendent of schools of the Greater Latrobe School District and a commissioned officer for public education in the state of Pennsylvania, I attest that each member of the class of 2020 present this evening has completed an approved program of studies and has met all the requirements established by the Pennsylvania State Board of Education and the Greater Latrobe School District. Therefore, at this time, I confer upon those members of the class of 2020 a Greater Latrobe Senior High School diploma and the status of graduate of the Greater Latrobe School District. Congratulations to the most resilient class of 2020.
only 500 people in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania can make the statement that she just made, conferring the class of 2020, and I think she's the only one doing it in person in a ceremony such as this. So Dr. Tepper conferring the class of 2020.
It is a special night.
It sure is.
Very indeed. And all of this was kind of a victory statement in a way.
Oh, for sure. The weather, everything that's going on here. Getting ready to read the names. We have staff members that will read the names of the graduates, starting with Mrs. Jessica Pellegrino, member of the social studies staff, and we'll remain quiet so that you can hear names. And I know you got one coming up here.
I do indeed.
Hank, huh?
Listen for the name, Bachman.
Rachel Lee Harder, valedictorian. Caitlin Nicole Templeton, salutatorian. Anthony Joseph Rock, class president.
There you go, 2020 on the scoreboard tonight, honoring the class of 2020.
George William Sprock, class vice president. Sophia K. Hoke, class secretary. Ethan Patrick Grandgeorge, class treasurer. Ella May Hill, class historian. Madeline Page Ammond. Enzo Carlone Angelicio. Brandon M. Antosh. Richard A. Armstrong. Caden James Banner. David Joseph Bates. Mario J. Battaglia. Logan Andrew Bachman Stubbs. Sander Beacon. Isabella Nicole Bearer. Aviana M. Beckett. Bella Marie Beckwith. Riley Veronica Belash. Madeline Nicole Bentley. Molly Ann Bobick. Mackenzie K. Bonar. Jonathan W. Bachnight. Noah Joseph Bordage. Jacob Ryan Bradish. Andrew William Bryant. Zachary Tyler Berger. Brendan Jordan Begala. David A. Bird, Jr. Nicholas John Bird. Isabel Marie Calabrese. Lauren Michelle Camerata. Zachary Allen Carroll. Noelle Bethany Cavello. Morgan Catherine Chen. Haley Marie Charrington. Madison Lynn Charrington. Madison Reese Cole. Jessica Regina Costello. Sarah Elizabeth Costello. Abigail Haley Cowan. Christopher Michael Cox. Matthew James Cox. Olivia J. Crawford. Mackenzie Elizabeth Crispin. Brandon Reese Crosby. Nathan D. Dockenbaugh. Haley Samantha Davis. Abigail M. Dupree. Jennifer Rose Dupree. Caitlin M. DeWalt. Luca J. Delani. Sarah Elizabeth Dill. Anna Rose Doling. Cameron Daniel Dominic. Owen David Ellis. William Joseph Enfinger II. Michaela S. Arrett. Osrat H. Eosius. Sierra N. Fairbaugh. Alex R. Faust. Bryce W. Feathers. Nikki Dawn Feltis. Alfred Stephen Ferraro, Jr. Gregory Cole Ferry. Brooklyn May Ferry. Michaela Rose Ferry. Sarah Marie Better. Lillian Ray Finch. John Silas Florick. Andrew R. Floyd. Keith R. Freeman, Jr. Kayla Renee Fretz. Nicole Michelle Fritz. Colin Anthony Frederick. Richard Michael Gaya. Jordan William Gaynor. Madison Kate George. Jenna Nicole Gert. Sarah Lynn Glasser. Sydney Marie Gamure. Ian James Gray. Emma Grace Greathouse. Zachary William Green. Alexis E. Grimm. Alicia Nicole Guidus. Logan A. Gustafson. Isaac L. Hall. Madeline F. Har. Kristen M. Harris. Cameron Michael Hayes. Archer Hedgie. Ethan Noah Henry.
Leah Marie Hill.
Mrs. Michelle Butler now
Tyler Andrew Hieronymus.
taking the microphone from Mrs. Pellegrino.
Sarah Marie Hissam. Taylor Michelle Hoshard. Emily A. Hoffman. Jacob R. Holt. Keegan R. Hood. Cody Hoopengardner. Jacob Matthew Horner. Robert A. Howard. Derek J. Hertansky. Jason Rushka. Julia Ann Hutchko. Joseph R. A. Hudson. Christian Lee Huey. Gregory Paul Irons. Shakira Lynn Jackson. Ethan J. Jacquet. Carlin Elizabeth Johns. Jeffrey Allen Jones II. Lillian Elaine Jones. Luke Anthony Joseph. Emily Lynn Kabbalah. Drew Michael Kazmarkowitz. Isabel Elaine Caker. Cameron Elizabeth Kaminsky. Ethan Joseph Kammerer. Madison Elizabeth Kaler. Megan J. Kellerman. Maya May Keltz. Michael R. Kershaw Jr. Lucas A. Kibe. Daniel A. Knaus. Sadie Renee Nechtel. Emmanuel Alexander Naus. Joby D. Kolar. Nicole Elizabeth Condrich. Zoe Brianna Kubitz. Ian Thomas Lamalinera. Robert P. Laufer. Blake David Lazeski. Hayden A. Laser. Allison Bridget Leakus. Joseph D. Letrick. Anthony Giovanni Lewis. Cecilia Josephine Long. Jonah Charles Lotz. Zachary Michael Lynch. Jesse Thomas Lyons.
Well, that's the halfway point there, Hank.
Okay.
As half of the graduating class of 2020 has made their way across the stage. Michelle Butler, Mrs. Michelle Butler, business teacher at the high school, currently reading names. She took the microphone from Mrs. Pellegrino, and she'll give way to Mrs. Nikki Shannon for the final 100 graduates. Dr. Teppert and Dr. Zorich making their way to the opposite side of the stage to recognize M through Z as they are split alphabetically here on the field at Memorial Stadium. Photography crews going to the other side too. Every graduate getting a photo with their diploma, and I believe we're ready.
And it's wonderful to see
Corbin John Makar. Jonna H. Mallets. Trey Sterling Claire Mallon. Ian Patrick Malone. Joshua Michael Martino. Joshua Timothy Most. Jolene Alyssa Major. Mitchell R. McAdams. Clay Stewart McClintock. Sydney Morgan McCracken. Colton James McCutcheon. Carmina Marley McMahon. Cole Scott McNeil. Malaya Jasmine McCowie. Renee M. Myers. Daniel C. Miller. Elijah Ira James Miller. Isaac C. Miller. Joel R. Miller. Jordan Marie Miller. Katie Joe Miller. Ruby I. Miller. Aiden Riley Mills. Anna Elizabeth Milyak. Clinton Earl Mitchell IV. Naveed James Mitchell. Nina I. Modecki. Emily J. Mondock. Talia Marie Mongaluzzo. Luke Sebastian Moore. Dakota Warren Morrison. Emily Danielle Model. Faith Elizabeth Mucci. Merle David Music.
Merle Music getting his diploma from his father, board member Merle
Rachel
Music.
Ann Newell. Ella A. Nickel. Bailey S. Knoll. Jacob Jess Knoll. Angela Ray Nolan. Michael P. Noonan. Ainsley Ann Novotny. Jace David Obardo. Isabella Anna Odo. Rocco Anthony Honorado. Hannah E. Oravec. Owen Lee Ostrowski. Jillian Ray Rivera Pinar. Lance Christian Rivera Pinar.
Mrs. Butler giving away now to Mrs. Shannon.
Andrew Charles Person. Joseph E. Phillips. Jennifer Ann Pierce. Hayden Ray Piper. Isaiah S. Piper. Bryce Jordan Pletcher. Lynn Ann Pletcher. Riley J. Pletcher. Blaze J. Prengaman. Callista Elise Price. Solon Sky Proctor. Alexa Marie Pinus. Sydney Lane Quinn. Reese James Ramsey. Annie Renee Rouse. Parker David Ray. McKenna May Reddish. Stephanie Lauren Rohde. Xavier John Rowland. Tyler Andrew Ross. Lane Dylan Ruffner. Abby Marie Rulo. Sophia Paige Sacchetti. Clayton Ross Sakalowski. Sebastian Lynx Somolski. Kevin D. Savage. Olivia Anna Marie Scalise. Logan R. Scherf. Aaron George Schrack. Elena Sarah Schrack. Draven Thomas Scott. Abby R. Schaefer. Madison Renee Shaffron. Skylar Paige Shank. Matthew Dante Schenkel. Donald J. Shimko III. Brady Robert Siegel. Mason Marcus Simon. Tyler J. Simonovich. Derek A. Sipe. Lillian Lee Slagle. Alexander E. Smith. Lindsay Marie Smith. Madison Elizabeth Smith. Eric M. Socio. Anna K. Soyson. Jacqueline Ann Sauerbrower. Vincent E. Stallings. Christian Royce Stanley. Lauren Michelle Stanley. Jake William Starzinski. Ryan J. Stass. Jared Nolan Stein. Cameron T. Stevens. Khalil H. Stewart. Sophia Paige Stinchula. Michael Joseph Sullenberger. Haley Nicole Sutton. Benjamin David Takich. Keely Elizabeth Thomas. Edward M. Thompson. Mitchell Ryan Tryon. Angelo N. Valana. Aiden R. Valorani. Sarah Therese Vasinko. Matthew Stephen Voloshin. Kayla Lynn Wadsworth. Justin William Watkins. Corey S. Weaverling. Christian W. Wedge. Lindsay Jane Weimer. Brandon Matthew West. Sadie Jean Wetzel. Benjamin Scott Wilcox. Mackenzie Lee Wilhelm. Ethan J. Wilkins. Paige Madison Williams. Gabriel M. Willishell. Alexander Cole Wilson. Nicole Marissa Wisniewski. Anna Elizabeth Whitty. Preston J. Yingling. Elizabeth Rose Yothers. Hannah Grace Yothers. Matthew Nicholas Yothers. Jennifer Lynn Uhonic. Jacob Noel Zazowski. Justin E. Zazowski. Jessica L. Zients. Colton Lee James Zimmerman. Logan C. Zitterbart. Ariana E. Zamiski.
In case you're counting at home, that's the, I think Dr. Tepper just sent the world record for elbow bumps by graduates. 294, so there we go.
It was good to see. It's good to see them smiling without the masks. We could finally see the smiles. Well, Mike, they certainly know what it is to be nimble now, and they certainly know the meaning of the word disruption, which is heard so often. Disruptive technologies, disruptive ideas, disruptive philosophies, and now they know how big that word can be. That's a great sight.
Absolutely.
It's a great sight.
A few graduates finishing up there, getting their photos. Every graduate gets a photo with their diploma. Mrs. Shannon still at the podium, set to move us to the next stage there. Again, Dr. Michael Zorch presenting those diplomas, along with John Maines and Dr. Teppert, who set a world record for elbow bumps in a short period.
That shot is from our technical director, Gus Hawk, with a drone.
Can I please have a round of applause for the class of 2020?
The teachers that read the names of the students are student selected, by the way, as is the faculty speaker, who will be up here next. That's Mr. Jason Brandt. Nice standing ovation here from parents.
Oh, yes.
Obviously recognizing the extraordinary effort put forth by their graduates in the class of 2020. Again, looking live here at Memorial Stadium, Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Mike Poremka, Hank Bachman, and the whole crew making this live stream possible for you through LHTC Media and
the Greater Latrobe School District.
And I see most of you already are, but will everybody please stand for the singing of our alma mater by Anna Doling and Cecilia Long.
Typically, Hank, this would be done by the members of the chamber choir, but due to social distancing requirements, we will just have the seniors performing here.
Oh, dear Latrobe High School, to you we pledge to be loyal and true. And while we're at work or at play, we'll honor and love thee forever. Dear old Latrobe High, dear old Latrobe High. Thy sons and thy daughters from far and from near will love thee forever. Thy name will revere to the skies on high. Dear
Seniors Anna Doling and Cecilia Long performing the Greater Latrobe alma mater here for the class of 2020. And we're going to have Ethan Grandgeorge, the treasurer of the class of 2020, introducing Mr. Jason Brandt to make remarks from the staff.
Please be seated. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ethan Grandgeorge, and I am the 2020 class treasurer. This special class of seniors got the chance to vote on a teacher that they felt was deserving to speak at this amazing ceremony. The person chosen is not only a fantastic teacher, but a mentor and someone who is always ready for an interesting conversation. Some of his students had the unique opportunity to learn while building model rockets and planes. Others were lucky enough to gain knowledge from him about astronomy in our one-of-a-kind planetarium. We especially looked forward to having class discussions that were engaging and fun. By sitting in just one of his classes, you can tell how passionate and knowledgeable he is about what he teaches. These qualities are evident to the students, making him a well-respected and tremendous educator. Please join me in welcoming our honorary speaker for this evening, Mr. Jason Brandt.
Mr. Jason Brandt, longtime Greater Latrobe staff member, more than 20 years in the science department, here to provide closing remarks tonight. The title of his talk is "In Union There Is Strength."
Behind me there is a ridge, one that you saw for the past 6 years at school, and it is the Chestnut Ridge, named for the trees that grew there for thousands of years. Nearly a century ago, a blight wiped out the majority of them, but a few did survive. To this day, there are still chestnut trees, thanks to the differences in their genetic code. Without these differences, there would be no chestnut trees standing today. As these trees illustrate, our differences are important. We cannot allow them to divide us. Instead, allow our differences to strengthen us. Unity does not mean doing the same thing with the same skills in the same way. Unity acknowledges our differences and looks for ways to work together to solve our problems. A stylist uses products made by a chemist to give their customers the look they want. A surgeon knows how to repair the human body, but they rely upon a team in the room to make it a success. A mechanic uses the knowledge and skill to maintain a car, but their tools were built by a machinist, designed by an engineer. In these and so many aspects of life, it is the union of different skills and abilities that give us strength. But if we go again to that Chestnut Ridge, but this time we look at the land itself, there is a gap in the ridge known as the Loyohana Gorge. It was formed by individual drops of water and sand and some wind coming together over time. A single drop of water, a grain of sand individually would not have been enough. When those elements came together, there was enough strength and persistence to erode a mountain into what you see today. Moving forward, remember, it is by coming together that we are at our strongest. Your life also has been shaped by each small experience and interaction around you. These combined experiences have built you into the person that you are today. You will continue to grow and be shaped further by the experiences of your future. You will encounter problems that may seem unsolvable. I ask you, the class of 2020, when you work towards solving these problems, remember the drop of water in the chestnut tree. To develop solutions to the challenges our world faces, you will be most effective by coming together with others, even those that seem very different from yourself. In union, there is strength. And together, on behalf of all your teachers, I want to congratulate you, the class of 2020.
Fine comments there, Hank, by Jason Brandt, longtime Greater Latrobe staff member, senior high school science teacher.
Taught my sons, and they loved him.
So did I. That's why I said long time.
Long time. Yes, the Chestnut Ridge is a great analogy, indeed.
George Sprock, the class vice president, now going to introduce Anthony Joseph Rock, the president of the class of 2020.
Hello, I am George Sprock, Vice President of the Class of 2020. And first and foremost, I would like to thank all of the teachers and staff that made this graduation possible during such an extremely difficult pandemic. But the real reason why I'm standing up here is to introduce to you someone very meaningful to Greater Latrobe High School, and very meaningful to me. You may all know him as a 3-time Student Council member, SAD Club member, President of the Letterman's Club, and a West Point Academy pick. But to me, he is my best friend. And it has made me so proud to watch him grow from a goofy little 8th grader into one of the most responsible, hardworking people I've ever known. But not only has his determination to succeed gotten him so far in life, his determination to be a strong, reliable friend that anyone could count on actually gave me the opportunity to be the best version of myself. He is the reason that I am where I am today. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be standing on this stage today. He may be a fundamental part of our school, but he is also a fundamental part of my life. That is why it is my greatest honor to introduce the president of our class of 2020, A.J. Rock.
A.J. Rock headed to the United States Military Academy, West Point, to study law and legal studies.
Great.
A.J. Rock, president of the class of 2020.
Today is a very special day for Greater Latrobe's class of 2020. I would first like to thank everyone in attendance. Thank you, parents and guardians. Thank you, teachers and faculty. And most of all, thank you to the class of 2020 for making high school not only one of the most important and interesting times of my life, but for making it a very memorable time. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of silence for any friends, family, loved ones, and fellow classmates who cannot be here tonight for graduation. And also for our nation, which is affected not only by COVID-19, but civil unrest as well. Thank you. High school truly did fly by, as my parents always told me it would. But it really didn't catch up to me until the week we were set to actually graduate. Everything hit you at once. All the wonderful times spent with friends, the relief of summertime, but most importantly, we are taking the next step into our lives. As you sit in anticipation to receive the last piece of paper that binds you to your high school years, I want you to not only rejoice with friends and family, but to reminisce on everything that has happened throughout your years. Because life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. I commemorate the whole class of 2020, not just for graduating, but for doing it under nationwide panic. We prevailed in a time of uncertainty, in a place laden with fear, whether that fear was naked to the human eye, such as a virus, or something we can never unsee, like nationwide protests. It is sad but true. Our final months of high school were stripped from us due to something we personally have no control over. Things such as senior prom, last sporting events, and simply getting to spend that last class with your friends is all gone. Even at our young age, the class of 2020 was able to graduate through odd and unusual circumstances. This came at such a vulnerable time in our future, yet we will prevail once this all passes over and pursue success. Now, some of you are sitting here today might be excited for the future, and others might be sitting in their chair shaking because it is time to grow up and take on real life. I know I personally am shaking a little because soon I will be reading the paper and doing crosswords. But truth is, we are experiencing the day that seemed so far away for so long. That day is today, and today we are growing up. Growing up is more than just finding a job. It is a whole new way of life we have to take on. And in today's fast-changing world, growing up will hit hard. But do not let this scare you. Become who you truly want to be, because now we have the whole world available to do what we desire. The hardest part is we have to all stop dreaming and go out and do it. Take a look at yourself and think, am I just a dreamer, or do I do what I desire? I used to be a dreamer. I would always daydream all the time about what I wanted to do. It always happened in Mr. Snyder's Algebra 2 class. Unfortunately, that dreaming did catch up. I did not ace his class. But I always sat there and thought to myself, I want to be the best person in the world in everything that I do. Then I realized I couldn't be Mr. McCombie, and that really hit me hard. It took me years of dreaming before I realized a dream only takes you so far. At some point, you have to pursue it. Everyone can dream of success, but only those who are determined can do it. We have many people from the school who turn dreams into success. Arnold Palmer, Mr. Rogers, and many others. Ask yourself, are you next? Stop saying I might do it, and stop calling them dreams. Call them goals and pursue them with everything that you have. You do not spend countless hours developing yourself into an adult just to let your goals falter. And you do not want to live your life knowing that you could have been more than you are. You have a goal, and you have to protect it no matter what. Because people out there will try to tell you they can't do it because they can't do it themselves. Sometimes you have to take risk in life, even if that means moving away from the comfort of home, risking investments to make a profit, or doing your homework as the teacher is collecting it. The game is risk and reward, and in this life, you'll fail many times before you succeed. Failing should not be viewed negatively, because you have to learn how to lose before you learn how to win. Every failure you have is a future success just waiting to happen. Use good judgment when seeking these opportunities for success, and do not become greedy. Find what you want and what suits you best, and build off of that. Do not jump around constantly, thinking that you'll always be better off doing something slightly different, because time will catch up to you faster than you know, and time takes everyone out. Time is undefeated. Take your young years for what they are, because the rewards are endless as long as you pursue them. And remember to not overlook these years, because before you know it, those hover-around commercials won't seem so funny. To close out my speech tonight, I want to say, be your own person and do not wish to be others. Except Mr. Wetzel, because he's probably the coolest dude known to man. But do not sit and wish you could be anyone but yourself. Make your own story, become a person your former self wished they were. Because at the end of the day, when all your work is boiled down and you look at yourself in the mirror, who do you want to see? Do you want to see someone who's too scared of failure to become something great? Or do you want to see the person who not only helped themselves, but made a mark on everyone around them? To the class of 2020, I wish you more luck and more success than anyone could ever imagine. I hope to read about every single one of you doing great things one day. My final words to the class of 2020, become a winner in your failures, never settle for less. Pursue greatness, but never stop pursuing. Thank you for listening. Now, class of 2020, join me in turning your tassel to the left side of your clap. Congratulations, and cheers to all.
Oh, there you go. There's the cap toss. Captured by the drone in the eye in the sky. Look at that.
Sure is, yes.
How about that? A moment these young ladies and gentlemen have been waiting for 13 years, if not their entire lives.
And pretty soon it'll be another 4 for those going on to the college, and they'll say, here's the moment I've been waiting for since I was in kindergarten.
My 23rd graduation here at Greater Latrobe, and they are all they're all special and unique in their own way. And having been an elementary principal, and again, as I said before, seeing some of these young ladies and gentlemen from the time they were in kindergarten, it's you know,
well,
it's emotional. It really is.
It's a milestone in the lives of these kids, and it's such an important passage, and it has a lot of significance, a lot of emotion, and you don't remember it all, but you never forget it entirely.
No, you don't. Remember, it rained like cats and dogs at my graduation. We had to go inside. No rain tonight, though. I told you, the graduation gods were going to smile on Greater Latrobe tonight. Now, what you see from the drone here, the eye in the sky, the Greater Latrobe staff members they're going to process out first. They'll recreate that tunnel that you saw at the beginning of the ceremony, and the students, now graduates, will pass through their teachers, their former teachers, their current teachers, their principal, their superintendent, all staff members participating here, and they will now be recognized officially as Greater Latrobe graduates, a select group.
Yes, yes. What I remember when my sons graduated and they went to college was, wow, now they're not going to be home, and that that hits you very hard. That hits you very hard.
Do you want my
so
kids?
A lot of parents,
do you want my kids, Hank? I'll send them over.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And there we go. You see the.
So that is another reason for a lot of emotion, of course, for the parents. These kids going off to different states, many of them, and then you begin that process, which includes writing a lot of checks.
Thanks. Thanks, Hank.
Oh, you wait.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you're in education. You know.
There's the.
It can be costly.
There you go. 2020 on the school board or on the scoreboard tonight,
Yeah.
honoring the class of 2020. Mr. Feather, Jim Feather, longtime employee here in the school district, coming down today to get the number up on the scoreboard, as has become tradition at Rossi Field. We got some students still trying to find their caps down there on the field, and just waiting. As happy as they were to get in here, Hank, I have to think they're just as happy to get out and go celebrate with family and friends.
With their family and friends,
for sure.
And everybody signed the mortar boards, and I love the messages, those that are visible that you can read.
Something that I think over the years has actually made its way to high school graduations. I used to see that a lot when I would go to my cousin's graduations up at Penn State, and really I see that now coming to the high schools more and more.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Hopefully we can
get a lot of energy and humor and creativity to the ceremony.
Yeah, and always interesting to hear the student speeches, because I think they are truly reflective of what's going on in society. At that time, you heard A.J. Rock mentioning in the end not only the COVID issue that's going on in our country, but also the civil unrest that we're seeing across the nation.
It's a difficult time. It's a very, very trying time.
And you think about about the as a former social studies teacher, I think about all the teachable moments that staff members didn't have with kids face to face, talking about some of these issues that are going on in our country right now. History always providing the best teaching moments in current events for sure, but very proud of our kids tonight, our graduates. Can't call them kids anymore. They are graduates.
No, you really can't.
You see them passing through the faculty tunnel. Parents filing out of the stadium now at this point. Again, a special thanks to our sponsors who made this live stream and simulcast on the radio possible. The Greater Latrobe School District, the Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation, the Greater Latrobe Education Association, all of those groups jumping right on board. Hank, I know you have more.
Indeed, a first for a class that deserves it. Also brought to you by Adelphi Village, by Bardini's Country Smokehouse, The Collision Shop by Jason Mignon, Commercial Bank and Trust of PA, Hartman Graziano Funeral Home, Latrobe Chevy, Quattrini Rafferty, St. Vincent College, Smith Propane and Oil, Greater Latrobe Partners in Education Foundation, the Greater Latrobe Education Association, and the Greater Latrobe School District.
I've done lots of things. I've done softball on the radio. I've done football. I've done basketball. First graduation.
Me too.
And I will tell you, it's my proudest moment here on the...
Good for you, Mike. Good for you. That's great to hear.
Absolutely.
Great to hear.
Students now processing across the track, back in front of their families, giving them a wave now as they are graduates. I always think it's interesting what, the ratio of pants to shorts for the males. Some choosing comfort out there in the heat. Others choosing a little more formality. You never know
Maybe
what
you should take the shot from the waist up. I don't know.
Nah, they look at them.
This is part of it, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah.
They're all unique individuals, all with their own personality. So so great to watch them grow.
So what's the percentage, if you have the number at the moment, of those who will go on to college?
It's a big number, and never ask a question you don't have an answer to. But I want to say 70 to 80% of our kids are going to go on to a 4-year school. And one other thing that I wanted to talk about, Scott Marker checking in with us here on the broadcast, he was hearing us talk about yearbooks. Yearbooks arrive today and will be distributed on Monday in a drive-through style pickup at Rossi Field. So there's going to be a call going out and an email tomorrow morning. He asked if we could mention that on the air, heard us talking about, there's at least one person listening, Hank.
No, there are quite a few. I've had some emails.
Yeah.
Emails and texts, yes.
I had a few. My mom's listening, but she has to. The graduates now, they'll come across the track, and then they actually go and pick up their diplomas to put in the covers that they received. We're hoping to get some comments here, if we have time, from Dr. Georgia Teppert, the superintendent of schools at Greater Latrobe. It's not that she doesn't want to come up here, Hank, but she's probably a pretty popular person right now down there. She's able to make her way up to the booth.
Well, I spoke with Dr. Teppert last week on radio, and it was evident how proud she was that she could bring this together. Of course, with the help of everybody in the staff and the administration. But the students wanted to do it, and she wanted to do it, and here it has happened tonight.
Yeah, and you heard Mr. Main's push credit her way, and having, I work with her every day. She truly was committed to having, and she said it from the get-go, I want to have some type of traditional graduation for our students, and she was truly committed to that. And I will tell you, we talked about it on your show.
Yes.
Her leadership through this whole pandemic has been stellar. She's been steadfast in her leadership. She's been unwavering in her commitment to our students. She's been gracious to the support from our staff, from everyone, as you had said earlier, from maintenance to custodial to secretarial, our food service workers providing lunches and breakfast 3 days a week at Latrobe Elementary School, our parents for jumping in and doing the very best that they could to help out in this situation.
And we talked about it being the spirit of Fred Rogers, and then the championship spirit of Arnold Palmer. And it's not too many high school graduates who can point to former students such as Palmer and Rogers from the same little school, the same little town.
Sure.
I don't think there's another parallel to it in the nation.
I'm not sure that there is, and it's interesting, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Palmer constantly quoted in our halls from our staff members, and kids, those words, when our faculty speak them, ring true to them because they are Latrobians.
Indeed.
They are, they are one of them. They are, again, a part of this select group.
Sure.
And when those words might not have deeper meaning to other graduates or students, I do believe that when our staff mentions something about Mr. Rogers or a quote, I mean, you hear it all the time, that it digs a little deeper and it has a little more oomph behind
you bet.
Because he is one of them.
I'm sure you would agree that one of the great moments in the history of the Greater Latrobe School District was Arnold Palmer at the dedication of the field house, and they sang him happy birthday. Yeah. And I don't know which birthday that was.
I think it was his 80th.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Right, 80th, yeah.
But you want to talk about, well, I'll tell you, one of the things that folks didn't get to see, the birthday celebration on the field was open to the public. What you didn't see was Mr. Palmer addressing our staff in the auditorium. And you want to talk about 300 people, quiet as can be, hanging on every word from Mr. Palmer when he addressed our staff.
I'll bet.
It was something to behold. And our students, I mean, with the utmost respect for him, his accomplishments, and his dedication to our school district, Arnold Palmer knew there was no generational gap there. He was someone who was just as important to a teenager as he was to someone who maybe was in their teens when they watched him performing on the golf course. Arnold Palmer is Arnold Palmer and will always be Arnold Palmer. Fred Rogers, again, the same. It transcends generations, their message and their accomplishments and their dedication to the community.
Yeah, Palmer was always Latrobe. He was always from Latrobe. He answered every letter, every fan letter. And Fred Rogers, if you recall, documentaries on him saying, if I can reach just one child, if I can reach just one child. And so here you have that spirit, that dedication as inspiration for these graduates.
I had the pleasure of meeting both men, and they treated me as though I was the most important person in the world when I met them, and I think that's the signature of a true
How many former
person.
students do you still hear from?
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. It really is. Sometimes I think about it. 20-some years, you meet so many kids, so many parents. The number just. It's exponential, but I will bump into them out places. Even I haven't seen Gus for a few years, and Gus comes down here.
He says now he can call you.
He can call me Mike, and I wish they would. They call me Mr. Premka. I look over my shoulder. I think my dad's behind me. But no, and it's just great to see. It's great to see kids that they remember you, that you made some impression on them.
Indeed.
So that's always fun. You see the Jansen Visconis of the world who are now Major League Baseball umpires, and I think, God, I had him in my class in 8th grade. There's just so many kids. Your kids, and you don't know what they're destined for, but you hope that you provided them with the guidance, the education, and the mentoring and the relationship to know that they can do just about anything that they want.
Well, my sons had a rich experience at Latrobe. They both did. And again, I have my youngest grandson graduating here tonight. His brother did, and I have a granddaughter in the district. So the Bachmans are a great Latrobe family, no question. Proud to be. I'm very proud to be.
Folks will say to me from time to time, well, I'm moving into the area. What school district should I move into? And I will never badmouth another school district. I think every school district is presented with a unique set of circumstances and community desires and expectations. But what I do tell people is, if you decide to move into the Greater Latrobe School District, I can promise you that your child will have a tremendous number of opportunities, not only in academics, but in athletics and in the arts. We pride ourselves on the 3 A's, and here comes Dr. Teppert doing a sprint up to the press box so that we get some comments from her.
Pull this chair over.
But I tell you what, we should put her in the middle. Yeah, I got that. We want to put her in the middle?
That's fine. Well, yes.
That way I don't look so big on TV. But I always tell folks, you're gonna get the utmost in opportunities for your kids. So come on in, Dr. Teppert. I saw you sprinting up there, and you look right over that way. You'll be able to see yourself on TV. You got your binder
and the monitor there, for that matter.
Yeah, there you go. You got to put this on. Appreciate you making your way up here. Dr. Teppert, the first thing I'm going to say, and you probably didn't know this, is congratulations to you. You set a world record for elbow bumps tonight, doing over 300 elbow bumps in a short period of time. So congratulations. Do you feel it? You'll be black and blue.
I feel it.
In the morning.
Well worth it.
So I sent you a message earlier this afternoon, and I said, I know you're stressed out, but enjoy the moment when you get in it, because your first year as a superintendent has certainly been unique. So as you sit here now, the haze in the barn, what do you think? How'd it go?
It was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't be happier for the kids.
Yeah, John said it in his comments, and Hank and I talked about it in the pregame, I guess we can call it. You were laser focused on having some type of traditional ceremony for these kids, weren't you?
Absolutely. Again, but if it would not have been for Ned Nichols thinking outside of the box to stay in the regulations that we have for large crowds and for the Board of Education to endorse that and trust us, we wouldn't be here.
But why was that important for you? I mean, I think the easy thing would have been to say, listen, guys, it's just not possible because we're in unique circumstances. Why was that so important to you?
Because it's what's right and it's what's best for kids. And that's the bottom line. And they deserved it. They lost everything the past 3 months of school. And we needed to find a way to make it happen.
Did it turn out the way you envisioned in your mind in terms of, you had venues within venues, you had parents, the way the kids were on the field? Was it what you imagined?
It was exactly. We actually had staggered times for parents to come with their graduates, and we asked them to please bring just one car, and they did that. They came during the times we asked, so we would not have large crowds coming in the gates at one time. We did not have any issues with parents not wanting to go into the section that they had been assigned. The students listened. They wore masks through the processional. It went great.
Did you get any comments from the kids tonight or from parents? I know you kind of ran up here pretty quick because I asked you to, but did you? What was the feedback that you got?
They were extremely, extremely appreciative and grateful that Greater Latrobe was able to make this happen for their kids. They felt the emotional roller coaster that their children had been on and continue to be on for that matter of fact, that this just really, really raised their spirits and put them in a very good place. Good,
an appropriate send-off for special group.
Yes.
We had said it over and over again, a first for a class that deserves it for certain.
So now you look toward the fall, and you told me in our interview a couple of weeks ago that kids are clamoring, parents are clamoring for brick and mortar again. They've had enough online. Huh?
Yes, yes. I will be meeting with the Board of Education actually in small groups to discuss various ways of going back to school because we have to have various plans. And we hope to have our safety plan approved next Tuesday at our Board of Education meeting, as well as our continuity of education plan.
I'd like to ask both of you, since I have you here together, what has this meant to you as professional educators, as top administrators in this district?
I'll answer this first. I'll give her a second to think. I was behind her the entire way, and I asked her that question knowing what the answer would be. I think it's the appropriate send-off for a group, and this is her first group as superintendent of schools, and I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy for our community, but I'm also happy that our superintendent was able to have what she wanted to end her first school year. I said this on the broadcast. Everything that we went through and as a school district, her leadership was steadfast. It was unwavering. It was laser focused, and it was exactly where it needed to be to get online learning up and running. I am happy that we were able to conclude the 1920 school year the way we did tonight. I'm happy for the kids, and I'm happy for this woman sitting next to me because I know the amount of time, energy, sweat, blood, and tears, literally, that she put into this and how bad she wanted it. I told her today, and I'll say it again, I am humbled and I am honored to be your assistant superintendent, and I would follow her anywhere, and this is just an example of that. So that's personal for me.
Well, as I said to you before, Hank, it's a team. It's a team. Trust me, I didn't do this alone. When you talk about people being focused, I mean, just to give you an example, this week I said, Mike, I'm concentrating on graduation, this and that. You need to get the CARES Act done. You need to get this done. You need to get that done. I went to Lori Galobish. Lori, I need you to do this, this, this. So it's not about me. It's about the team. And the thing that I do know is my entire team does what's best for kids. And when it comes down to it, they'll do whatever they take to get done what we need to do for kids. And I continue to say that the decisions are made in the best interest of our students.
You talk about learning from the mistakes, you know, adversity makes you stronger. How is the district stronger having gone through what you've gone through since March?
I'll let the boss answer that one.
Well, I could, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's what I continue to say, because there were, you know, as everybody knows with the pandemic, you know, decisions were made, had to be changed. You were moving, you had to pivot on a dime. Information came out literally and changed within an hour's time. So how did it make us? It made us stronger. There's no doubt in my mind. And it really forced us to think of ways and other ways to do things and to get things done so our students can continue to succeed. And obviously we want them in brick and mortar, but the fact that our staff pulled together and provided the online learning, the principals, the building principals. Again, I can't say enough about our Board of Education. I know there are some superintendents that are not in my position that might not have the cohesiveness of our board and the support from our board, because no matter what I propose, if my board does not endorse it, it doesn't happen. And hey, we learned to be, we're tough.
Yeah.
We're made of Teflon.
More nimble and tougher, huh?
Yes.
And smarter?
And together. I mean,
Together,
honestly,
smart,
you
yeah.
talk
It's like a
about that.
family.
We found out a lot about each other
It's
when
like
the
a-
chips were
yes.
down. You really did. And
Yeah, when
and,
you're under fire, it
yeah.
happens, doesn't
Yep.
it? Yeah.
And staff members running professional development for other staff members at 8:30 at night, because they know that's when kids go to bed and that staff members are available, and you have that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
community. That's one hand lending another. It goes back to Fred Rogers, as you talked about before, and as was quoted today over and over again. Dr. Tepper, we talked about how people often quote Fred Rogers, but when Fred Rogers or Arnold Palmer is quoted here at Greater Latrobe, it has a deeper meaning.
Sure does. Absolutely.
Because
Sure
he's
does, yeah.
he's one
Yeah.
of them. They're those men are one of them, and it strikes a different chord, we believe, with our graduates and our students. So.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
extraordinary examples, as we discussed.
Absolutely.
Did it
from
feel-
such a small area?
I'll ask this, and Hank, I don't know if you have anything else. You're standing on stage today. You're giving a speech. You're handing diplomas. Yes, you're socially distant. Yes, you have a mask on. But is it the first time you felt somewhat normal in 3 months? Other than when you're hanging out with me.
No, that's
yeah,
not.
right.
No, that,
But I mean, did you have some sense of
I sure did. And I was sitting on stage thinking, oh my gosh, this is what it's about. I've had a little sense of, I felt a little sense of normalcy during graduation practice, but we split the groups, obviously, you know, because of social distancing. And I felt that, but it was a practice. And then sitting and looking out and seeing all the students and coming up and making the eye contact
You
with
bet,
them
you bet.
and being able to see their eyes and the, you know, their emotions, my emotions. So
Sure,
it was
sure.
real.
Sure.
just so that you know, text messages coming into my phone tonight, people listening from all over the district, people listening from all over the state, people listening from all over the country tonight.
Wow.
And watching and listening. I know Hank's phone was blowing up over there too, and those are just the ones that we know about. But what a unique opportunity you gave us at LHTC Media and 97.3 Light FM, WCNS Radio. What a unique opportunity you gave people out there to see into graduation, hear it, and be a part of it. And I think we anticipated more people outside the fence, but I think a lot of those folks, I mean, they were over here.
Over to the
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Yes.
But I think
it was still good.
I think a lot of those folks were just watching at home, and just the number of folks that it touched tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this.
Well, if I could say one thing, I can't thank you two enough. And Mike, you were so integral in getting this together along with Hank. And also the flyover just was phenomenal, and Mike organized that. I had absolutely nothing to do with that. He contacted the airport and set up the pilot and everything.
Gabe Monzo.
And I tell you what, that was something that if you didn't have tears in your eyes when that plane went over.
We couldn't see it from where we were. We couldn't see it because it kind of went right over the press box. but Pete Tenerovich put me in touch with Gabe Monzo and Mr. Cayley, Mr. Miller, doing a great job making it special. So
It was phenomenal. But thank both of you and your entire staff.
You're most welcome. Well, we're very proud to have done this and excited about it. It seems to have gone very well technically. But I said to Mike, next year the F-16s.
Yeah, what's next, right?
Hank umps the ante. We're going to have a stealth bomber next year for the class of 2021.
The only thing they'll like about the pandemic was what they got to see at graduation, right?
Well, it's been a wonderful, proud night. And,
Very.
And in all, it's a successful year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes.
Yep.
Very much.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you again.
I know you got staff members and everyone to go with. We can let you go.
Appreciate it. Thanks again for everything, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Dr.
Take care, Dr. Tepper.
I don't know. We've got lots of finishing up to do here, so.
You don't trip on the.
Don't. The last thing you want to do is fall off on camera.
Yes, I've done it so many times.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Take care.
All right.
Take care. Yeah. All right, Mike, come on over and get in the shot here.
Okay. Here we go.
And no, don't ever be normal. I mean, you went through your normal phase. Now it's over with, and now you're Mike Parenka.
I guess so. Yeah. Again, what a great night. Kudos to the whole team here. Everyone just banding together to do what they can. And again, the conversation for months has been, what can I do to help? How can I do it? You take Dr. Wennick is over here. Dr. Wennick's a retired staff member from Greater Latrobe. We needed a wireless mic. John Main said, well, I know Dr. Wennick uses one for his track meets. Maybe we can get it. Dr. Wennick brought it down for practice, and he hasn't left since that microphone was here. You know why? Because he cares. Because he wants it to be right. And if something went wrong, he wasn't just going to drop it off. He didn't have to be here that whole time, but he did it because it's an entire community pulling together and coming together.
Well, that's the advantage of a smaller district, isn't it? I mean, truly.
You know what, though, Hank? If you look at Westmoreland County, we're a bigger district. But we have strong community ties here at Greater Latrobe, and even though we might be larger than some surrounding districts, I think that again our graduates, our community members, just have that. It's a unique tie that they have to Greater Latrobe, and again, I appreciate the comments that I heard tonight. I would hope to have this opportunity to do this again. Certainly not under these circumstances. I'm done with my pandemic.
We've got to be back.
As far as my career's gone, I'm checking off the pandemic.
No,
piece.
it's been very punishing, and it has been in some cases just horrendous for media.
Yes.
Because businesses are closed, and they don't advertise, and it's been very, very costly in so many ways. And I really, really hope that we can get back to normal in the fall with the school districts, of course, with education, with the businesses. If so many businesses depend on the fourth quarter, the holiday season, and if they would lose that in addition to what they've already lost, it could be,
Well, if I switch gears and I go to what I typically do in the fall, which is football, Friday night football on the Wildcat broadcast. I said to Jason Maruco several months ago, I can think of nothing better to reunite a school district and pull them out of a pandemic than fall sports, Friday night football.
Can you imagine the first home game here? Huh?
Yes. I'm watching them disassemble the chairs on the field, and I hope we have that opportunity because I believe. As Dr. Teppert said, our parents want it, our community wants it, and I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about kids going back to school, and I believe that they need it in order for them to feel some normalcy in their lives. We're doing Little League Baseball now, but I would love nothing more than to be right here on LHTC Media with some video this fall, doing some broadcasts to semi-packed Memorial Stadium.
He's looking at our general manager, Brandon Kale.
I'm trying to
Brandon, do you have a sec?
Come on in.
You have a sec?
We
want to
bring Brandon.
Give some credit to the guy who oversaw all of this.
That's about all I did. I just oversaw.
Wait a minute. Where's the mic? Where's the mic?
There
That
you
one.
go.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
So what do you think? How did it go?
I think it went about as well as we could have hoped. This was the first time we put together, obviously, a commencement ceremony like this. And for us, LHTC Media, it was the first time putting a lot of these different elements together with the drone and the different shots of the stage. And, we had a couple little technical difficulties along the way, but all in all, I was very pleased.
Good. Yeah, it's technically challenging, no question about it.
Yeah.
Gus Hauk, our technical director, he did a fine job.
Why did you want to do this?
Oh, there's so many reasons why. The history of WCNS being the Latrobe station, when you first asked me if we would be interested in doing it on the radios, yeah, definitely. But then to add the video element, particularly with so many family members and friends who couldn't make it here tonight, to give them the best view of what was happening here and to see their graduate walk across the stage. And hopefully we were able to share that experience with them.
Yeah, I think it's neat. We've live streamed before graduation, but never with drones and commentary and things like that. And I hope I can't wait to see the finished product. But
right.
From the school district standpoint, I want to thank you and your team. Dr. Tepper was talking about people working tirelessly to make this event possible. I think you may have spent more time here in the last 2 weeks with your whole crew, AJ, Gus, everyone coming down here. And AJ, I told you guys from the beginning, you need in the stadium, you just let me know, I'll get you in.
Yeah.
Little did I know it would be every day.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because I know that you wanted it to be right. And your commitment and dedication to this, I truly appreciate it. And that's why we partner.
Right.
With LHTC Media and WCNS. So
well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, and those sentiments are certainly shared in the opposite direction. We appreciate the cooperation and you making this facility accessible for us for all of our test runs and broken cables and all the stuff we had to go through to get ready.
Yeah. Now you'll be here tomorrow morning to help clean up. Am I right?
I told the guys we're staying tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna get it all cleaned up.
There's a lot to tear down. Down. No, I think WCNS and the Latrobe School District kind of joined at the hip. Have been for so many. I don't know how far back it goes. It's, of course, to the Dow Carnahan era with you and Dow. You remember, and on we go. And it's wonderful to have that relationship between media, between any radio station, and an important part of the community, such a vital part of the community, is a school district. And it's it's very exciting. It builds that community spirit.
It sure does. And having a community radio station and media outlet certainly does. I'm always amazed at the folks that look to you for their information. Yeah. And the first thing tonight, we wanted to get a one call out to our parents about rain. And the system had rolled over, so we didn't have graduates in the system. I texted TJ, and he said, yeah, we'll get it on, no problem. So,
but when you do those football broadcasts, that's also important for the kids, not just the team, but for the kids, for the whole district.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know how many assistant superintendents there are in the country. Well, you weren't then, but you are now, and you will be in the fall, calling football games. And I think it's great.
Well, I think it's important to show the kids. I always enjoy being around the kids. As I told you earlier, I don't think anyone gets into education that doesn't have a love for children. I enjoy calling. I enjoy football. Always have. I enjoy calling the games. I enjoy watching the kids from week 0 to whenever. And I think it's unique for them to see me doing it because they see me in the hall, and I'm not a teacher per se, right. But it allows me to maintain close relationships with kids. I see like AJ Rock. I didn't have AJ Rock at Bagley. I developed a relationship with AJ Rock through football and through Friday night, and I use it as a motivator when I see them in the halls. AJ, come on, man, you get 100 yards. I get you on the radio on Friday night,
Well, you better be careful with that, Mike, because your profile is going to be elevated now with the being on camera.
Yeah, they're asking
you'd be
for
a celebrity.
No.
Mr. Paremka, can I have your autograph?
No, listen, I saw the Facebook feed over there. There's a lot of people saying, put Paremka back on the radio. So, I did get a fresh haircut
I heard
today.
a couple of hours, too.
Yeah.
You need some hair?
No, I got a fresh haircut today.
Oh, you've got it cut.
Yeah,
well,
Smart Style Angela hooked me up there today. She took me in early because she wanted me to look pretty on TV. That's what she said, Hank.
It's been great fun. It has been great. I haven't done any live programming since, back in the day at Channel 11. And doing it live is always exciting. It's in the moment. It's a quintessential in the moment, isn't it?
Right.
Events unfolding for real with the audience participation. And now with this today, unlike before, you get instant feedback from the listeners, viewers, and that's another factor. And that's used, of course, in many broadcasts.
Sure.
This instant communication from the
Mr. Maines
viewers.
talked about it, instant gratification.
Yeah, well, he was critical of and I was glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
He was critical of some aspects of social media and of the internet, all of the screens. And I asked Dr. Tepper about that in my interview with her for radio a couple of weeks ago. And she says, yes, kids are on screens too much, generally speaking. And that needs to be toned down a little bit. I don't know how you do that, but it's one reason why a lot of kids are anxious to get back to the brick and mortar, to face-to-face education.
Sure. Right.
Because this let them know the limitations of the online world and all the digitization and all the screens.
Right.
Kids get screens, they're born. Here's a screen, and then here's the iPad, and then here's the social media.
Yeah, there certainly is a balance, though, because, before all of the technology, we couldn't have shared this event across the country. As you mentioned, there are people
No question.
in all different places watching it.
No, the Internet, hey, it's the world's game changer, and there's been no technology like it ever. And it's not going away. It's not going away. And we know that full well in conventional broadcasting, of course. But we've managed to integrate the Internet into... This is the classic example. So you have to be multimedia, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah. Good.
Well, thank you again. I appreciate being with you tonight.
It's been a ball.
Thank you again, Brandon.
Thank you, Mike.
And again, it's been personally important to me. My son's having graduated here, my grandson's now, and my granddaughter soon. Well, not soon. She's 3.
Soon enough. It'll be here before you know it, right?
Before you know it.
For her parents, it will indeed be. Okay, well, again, we want to thank the Greater Latrobe School District, and I want to acknowledge once again Gus Hauk, our technical director, AJ Padmanabha, and Kaylee Kale with production, our general manager, Brandon Kale, overseeing it all. And it has been a wonderful, successful, and a kind of victorious night, huh?
No, we won tonight.
Indeed. We won tonight.
We won tonight.
That's right. That's the way to end it.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So, we rolling the credits?
I think you can send us home, Hank. I brought us in. You take us home.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, for Brandon Kale, our general manager, and Mike Paremka, assistant superintendent of the Greater Latrobe School District, everybody in the district, all the administrators, and particularly the kids, this has been live stream and radio broadcast of the 2020 Greater Latrobe School District graduation. A first for a class that deserves it, and we wish all of the kids huge success. Go out and do it. We hope to hear from you soon. Take care.